as, you know, he will once he gets to level 6, of course, compared to the Xin Zhao. So it's almost like the tables are turned a little bit. Normally we look at Kong Ye as a power farmer, right? He gets involved a little later in the team fights. I feel like he might be the one making the gank plays versus Husha, but we'll have to find out. J-Team, Mega Man Beyond Gaming on the Rift here for our first game in a best-of-5 series. The winner will move on to face Deep Cross Gaming in the second round of the upper bracket. The loser falls down to the elimination bracket, has to face off against Meta Falcon team. We'll see who it's going to be as we are on to the Rift for game 1.
If I'm just looking at the drafts, I will say I feel a slight advantage for Beyond Gaming. This is a composition that they know how to run. They've run plenty of times before, and it suits a lot of their strengths. For J-Team, I think this is a comp where you're not going to get a straightforward snowball from start to finish. You have to play a lot more of these 5v5s front to back. And to be honest, we're just not sure the performance level that Driver is going to be coming in with. Again, he's only played 4 games this split. He is back onto those tanks, as we see in the early game here.
You backpedaling already, Clement? Predictions? Nah, I'm just kidding. Nah, I agree. I think there's a lot of questions. A lot of question marks about this J-Team lineup and the pick ban. I think they've given themselves a little bit of a tough task. And Beyond Gaming are very, very good at finding fights they have no business winning.
Yeah, if I'm looking at this draft, it does feel a little bit weird in a couple of locations. I'm really not sure about Kong Yue on the Xin Zhao. Typically, he has been great on champions that have high impact, Kiana, and things like the Poppy or the Wukong. He's done very well at, but I'm just not sure about this Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao is a champion that typically just plays to be a sort of backline guard into the late game. This composition very much is set around protection for Little V, and I really struggle to say that that's the best thing that J-Team have actually played around. Like, I would not say that that's J-Team's strongest suit, protection of Little V.
I will say Little V is on a champion that does have a fair bit of self-protect if you're talking about you know, the ability to get over the walls, and you know, Spark Surge can really make or break a game. Zeri is just one of those champions that, despite nerfs, has been really, really high priority for a lot of people for a long time. And I do think Lil V, while he wasn't as big in the like Jinx Aphelios meta comparatively, I think he's a player with a lot of upside. That pentakill was not just a fluke, not just a one-off. He's an incredible team fighter, and I do think if they can protect him, that plays to his strength at least.
Absolutely. I feel like Little V, we have to mention this. This is probably individually one of his best splits yet. He is, outside of the comparison with Shun, the second best laner in the PCS. Ooh. And a lot of it has come to the pieces that are surrounding him now. I think Kong Yue does a lot of these jungle clears where he's just clearing the bottom side and then going directly into potential ganks there into the bottom. And you also have Ensa, who I think has been a much stronger laner compared to some of Little V's previous support. So Little V has really been set up to shine here. I think he's definitely done well. But now Minji, ooh.
Yeah, comes in, gets the setup. Husha wasn't quite ready for it, so it doesn't really take too much. And Minji actually gets a little bit punished on the back half of it as well. Did expect to see action early in that mid lane, but no kills taken just yet. Ooh, excuse me, though. Kino goes in and finds Lil V, forces the cleanse out of him as he's trying to walk away. Should get stunned up there, and they're really lining this up, but Wako just couldn't get in time, even popped the ghost as Enzo knocked him away. Good protection, but it's Beyond Gaming's bot lane that are stepping up here.
Yeah, and we do have to mention that pots give you a lot less HP now, 30 less HP per pot. So it's harder to recover from an all-in that goes poorly for your side here. That's gonna force the jungler to come down. Indeed, we do have Xin Zhao going into the bot lane. Husha will come top, and you know, Driver is gonna feel uncomfortable, but he should be fine with the jungler spotted out.
Yeah, just a little monkeying around in that bush. Here's Kolmye down bottom, as you said, will be revealed. Kino and Wako playing very safely here. Worth noting, too, I talked about the ghost being popped. It was Wako going for the ghost summoner. They don't actually have defense. Oh, boy, he might regret it now. The flash into the knockup. Couldn't quite land on a Wako, who's a little out of mana right now, but Kino takes a lot of punishment still, though. No first blood.
Yeah, and that's a big win there for J-Team, as they do get that flash down on the side of Wako. He now has neither summoners here. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we just see Driver actually getting a huge chunk onto Leakai there. If he ticks close to level 6, Leakai could be in trouble.
I was gonna say, what's going on up top side? Leakai is he's getting bullied around by Driver. I was wondering.
The way I see this is that I feel like Leakai probably overbaited. He had Husha in the top side there, and the wave was pushing towards him, so my guess is he probably baited a trade, try to get Driver out, but Driver knew that Wukong was there the entire time and just said, okay, I'll take the trade and walk out.
Speaking of, Husha gets spotted again down bot. One thing that J-Team have done very well is warding up a lot of these bushes and preventing Husha from having a huge impact early. Still wouldn't expect the Wukong ganks to be nearly as effective until Cyclone's ready. But speaking of ultimates, we're starting to get them popping up mid lane. As well, Uniboy dings 6 around the same time as Minji. Kongye still on 5, waiting to get involved a little bit more. But it's a little bit of a quieter early game, and I think despite the efforts by Beyond, they should be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I think most of their laning phase are absolutely fine. I will say if I'm Beyond Gaming, I would prefer to have a little bit more of a lead in my mid and bot lane. That hasn't really been the case this time around, so they are a bit behind schedule. And now we are going to be heading towards the most important phases of the game, which are these neutral objectives on 12.14. So the gist of it is Drakes now grant you 50% more effects than they previously did. Huge bonus. Heralds also give you 200 local gold. So what this means is that the early objectives are do or die. You cannot give over 3 early Drakes or 2 Heralds and expect to outscale out of your position. That just does not happen anymore on 12.14. You also cannot expect to just leave your AD in the bot lane and hand over Herald. Because of that 200 extra gold, you have to contest. So this is going to be the most action-packed phase of the game. Riot has came out and said, you know what, we feel like our early game between pro teams has been a little bit slow. Too many people have been sitting on their Azirs, sitting on their Gwens. We're going to make that a thing of the past.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit more exciting early game for sure. And already, even without the first blood, a couple of attempts happening in this one. You know, you talk about neutral objectives. That's something that Beyond Gaming have been very good at this split. You look across the board, and they have first tower about 3 out of 4 times in their games. Their first blood percentage is one of the best in the league, and they're also not terrible at taking the early dragons. J-Team, on the other hand, are a little bit of a slow roller squad. They're one of the worst at dragons in the early game.
I always say that dragons are not always very indicative of how a team's doing, because a lot of times you're trading Herald for Drake, and the Herald is usually worth more. So you typically do want to look at Heralds, and even in that comparison, Beyond Gaming does come out ahead.
Yeah,
72%.
That's the thing. They're the best team. They're the best team at Rift Heralds. And not just even the first
so
one, just in general.
I just think that Beyond Gaming are actually super clutch, and Husha's been doing a great job in a lot of these so far. As we do have actually just a straight push in on the bottom side, so it looks like J-Team are just going to go for that early Ocean.
They're going to muscle in for it right here. I do think with that being in plain vision, it means Husha can hop the wall, get a setup, actually get spotted by Driver. And here's a roam. They're actually going to mid lane right now. I think they might want to try and instead force a play onto Herald.
Yeah, this is interesting. So they do have a head start on the support if they want to go for it. If we see right now Kino on the map, still a ways off towards getting that one. But no, they actually just just go up for a roam here, and just looks like they're securing vision in wait for those objectives to go down. Now we finally get some action.
Yeah, Enzo going to be able to find out Kino here and gets the knockback. Whoa, that was a bit of a rubber band as they hop the wall. Lilvi forcing out the flash. Kongye slowed down by Kino's ultimate, and they will be able to walk away, but not for free. Still no first blood 9 minutes into this one, but certainly not for lack of trying, Clement.
Yeah, that's actually quite well done on the side of J-Team. You know, they roam up, they let the push in, and then they come down to collect the summoners once more. That's 2 ultimates now burned on the side of Beyond Gaming. J-Team do have a decided lead in this Drake if they want to contest for it. But as we said, usually most teams still prefer the Herald compared to the Drake. Now, especially true for the Drakes that are not Hextech and Infernal. Those 2 Drakes, after the buffs, are just absolutely insane. You do a lot of teams would like those Drakes, but usually when it's just an Ocean or a Cloud, a lot more teams would actually still try to move their priority into the Herald and collect that extra 200 gold.
And you can see the vision game really reflecting that right now as teams have contested. For a while, I thought Enzo was going to join up with Kongye to try and make the play, but no, he just kind of handheld through the jungle, a little bit of a rotation and ward sweep, and you know, maybe he just misses the good old days of when he was a jungler. Seems so long ago now.
It could be true, but I really like this action. We've seen this a lot in the past from like Kai Wing and River, where it's just you leave lane and it puts the enemy in such an awkward position. Yes, they could push, but then you suddenly have the enemy jungler right behind you and you have to burn summoners to get away. So I do like this roam coming in from Enzo and Kongyue. And if we remember kind of the general gist of how these teams want to play the game, you have to say that J-Team are putting themselves in a pretty strong spot to get that front to back. You know, that's much more of a late game comp. That's much more of a comp where you want to have the setups there and have your lanes even. And that's exactly what J-Team have accomplished.
Yeah. Kept this one a little bit quiet, but they've been able to help Lil V to building himself up a little bit of a farm lead. The roam potential was matched by Kino, of course, as well, as he helped out Hushi. You can see he's still doing that, but great vision coverage means that J-Team have full info on what's happening here. Lil V can clear that ward brush away, and looks like the setup for the Drake is happening. This is going to be a late first one, as you mentioned. Not as much focus, but they will look for the fight first, and Husha getting stopped up for a second, not fooled for long by the clone, and he gets deleted. Even burns the flash. Insult to injury here as first blood comes through. And that doesn't mean without a smite, this dragon is about as free as it's going to be.
Yeah, really nice usage of the abilities across the board right there. Enzo just goes directly in, starts the thing off, gets the glacial impact on everyone, augment, excuse me, and Little V even comes over the wall just to get the kill after the flash. So just great targeting here from JT. I like their preemptive moves here. You could see that Beyond Gaming were trying to fish around the periphery, try to find that kill, but Enzo just ends all of that. Enzo doesn't give them a chance whatsoever. They land, the win becomes lightning slow, enabling the follow-up there as well, and everybody just dumps the damage on Arusha.
Yeah, they can do the deep dives too. And oh, Driver, let's see if he's going to be able to survive this turnabout. Nope, no getting out of the Hextech ultimatum, but he does call the Forge God in. Can't send the Oran Horn back, unfortunately. So, Big Man Beyond Gaming will get some revenge here, Clement, but they don't claim an objective off of it.
Yeah, really nice find. Driver, most importantly, they do get his ultimate and his flash off of that one. But in the meantime, I don't think they have enough in the tank to take Herald there. It's actually kind of a close play. I'll be honest, I feel like if Driver was able to hit that 3-man, then you could have seen Kongyue and Uniboy come in and just get another kill off of that one, but that doesn't happen. Nice comeback play here coming in from the side of Beyond.
Yeah, that was the setup. Okay, he just didn't expect there to be 3 people jumping on top of him, and yeah, tried to get away. Nice catch on the Hextech ultimatum. You're right, it was inches away from connecting, and that might have been the difference maker, but as it stands, Gold Game just about to dead even. Dragon making all the difference here as we're starting to see mythic items completed. Everfrost up for the Ahri, Gore Drinker up for the Xin Zhao. It's going to be matched just down bottom by Wako Sivir and the Kraken Slayer. Excuse me, never mind, a couple Divine Sunderers as well.
You know, we got the 2 Divines in the top side right here. And this is, this is kind of a slow start for Beyond Gaming. I definitely expected their bot lane and their mid lane to have a little bit more oomph here. Hasn't been the case. J-Team now running the entire bottom side. And Beyond Gaming are actually just being forced off of their towers here. You know, they're being put in a rather awkward position. And in the meantime, though, this is strong for Beyond Gaming. They do get this Herald just kind of uncontested. One big thing about the neutral objectives is that even though Drakes have a lot more HP, Heralds are still the same. So a lot of times teams still prioritize the Herald a lot more than, say, the Drakes here. And, you know, J-Team kind of dropped the ball in this one.
A little bit. I think timing window was sniffed out really well by Beyond Gaming. So it really, this first game of our series ends up looking a little bit more like a chess match, just back and forth, small trades here and there, and decent control by both sides. That charm doesn't connect from Uniboy, but him and Minji continue to duel it out. A little bit of a level disadvantage there. And we talked about how this mid-match would probably swing a lot of things, but after that first gank attempt and a few wistful glances towards the mid lane by each jungler, it has been quite a quiet affair.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely going to be in favor of Ahri here. Usually, if you see the LeBlanc, it has to win lane, you have to punish the Ahri, and it typically is a strong matchup. Not this time around. Let's see if Kongyue can just pop out of this one. Yeah, he has to flash, but no, does end up safe here.
Yeah. Usually playing a champion that has some sort of dash through a wall that doesn't depend on targeting something. Unfortunately, this time not the case, as his Xin Zhao is forced to walk away. It is an interesting choice that he goes to the Xin this game. I believe it's the first time he's played it all split long. And it did surprise me, even with the pick bans. We know that Kongye's got more in his pocket. I thought the Lee Sin might be coming out. I thought maybe we'd see the Kiana flex. Maybe it's a little bit much for game one, but I didn't really expect the Xin Zhao to be the choice here.
Neither did I. It's his first time on the champion this entire split, and usually when he's trying to play something more defensive for his backline and Lil V, he does go for the Lee Sin, like you said. You know, Xin Zhao is much more an early game do-or-die champion now, so I feel like what happened here was that J-Team wanted to preserve some chance that they could just snowball an early game lead here. But when it comes to the mid-late game, I would say I actually favor Lee Sin over the Xin Zhao. I feel like Lee Sin has a lot more playmaking potential in that regard. Maybe his
How do you feel about a Wukong, though?
Oh.
Never mind. Enzo gonna get that pop-up onto Minji, but very slippery. Minji does get out, and Husha was able to distract a lot with Clone too. Yeah, I wanted to know how the late game of the Wukong's gonna stack up to this Xin.
So I definitely think that Xin, the reason you pick him is for that Guardian Crescent. You sweep everyone away, and you can keep Zeri alive and Arya alive for a long time. And the idea here, I think, is just because Beyond Gaming is trying to play such an aggressive early game, such an aggressive dive comp, that you just want to...
Yeah, Kino, and stopped up. Uniboy gonna get caught by Minji. That's a good amount of burst there. Does he actually get away from this? That's the question. Here comes the Cyclone, and Lee Kai opens up with a kill. Hex ultimatum onto Kongye, who cannot survive through. Beyond Gaming keep finding angles. They've done this all split long, and they do it again for 3 kills.
Massive win for Beyond Gaming. I feel like J-Team are a little bit too optimistic here. They didn't realize that they were being collapsed on from multiple sides, and it was actually a timing window where Lee Kai had his TP and Driver did not. So massive win for Beyond Gaming. They also get the most, I would say the strongest Drake of them all here in the Hex deck. Get that 9% attack speed, 9% cooldown reduction here. So massive plunder by J-Team.
This is huge. Beyond Gaming just get a huge swing, and they're also going to be able to get another charge. Oh, Lil V was so close. He couldn't finish Shelly off. Yeah, this was a great setup, you think, but the collapse comes in reverse. And watch the health bar of Uniboy just disappear in this fight.
There were so many awkward angles for J-Team. Look at Uniboy. He actually has to walk through 2 champions just to run away, and he doesn't even get any damage down. Warren also can't join the fight at this point. Beyond Gaming with Wako's ultimate able to chase down the rest of J-Team, and you know, this is a weird one, but J-Team just picked a fight where they were at a decided disadvantage.
Yeah, and I feel like Beyond Gaming just always find fights that were like kind of shocked that they do. Not that they win, but that they had the opportunity, and that was a J-Team mistake for sure. Kills do go into the top side of the map. Yes. Lee Kai getting 2, that means he's going to be very accelerated. The Tiamat, I think that just buys it outright. And yeah, if you're Driver, you're not going to stop this Camille, even though you were able to outplay a little earlier on in the game. The LeBlanc doesn't get any kills, but the Wukong does, and he's building some damage right now. That is an interesting start to how things are going. The Executioner's calling. I think we'll see that Kempunk Chainsword pretty soon.
Yeah, I honestly felt like J-Team really blew that lead that they had in the early game. They had sort of this smooth angle where they could just scale into a mid to late game team fight with Ornn and Zeri, and I think that would have been a fine situation. But with that fight, you now have Wako able to go into the mid lane. You now have these long side lanes where nobody can match here. Like, Uniboy's not going to be able to go too far against the LeBlanc. And then Lee Kai, once he gets the top lane narrow down, he's going to be able to transition bot lane. That's also a nightmare. So J-Team, they have to play this really, really closely and look for a big team fight win with the front to back.
They've got to pick a fight on their own terms, right? They need good setup. Otherwise, Beyond can find them, can outplay them. The picks are there. Husha finds Driver. Even with the 2-level disadvantage, he chases him away, and Lee Kai is just becoming a tower-wrecking machine. Not to mention, they still got Wako to keep the waves pushed just about everywhere they want. Minji finding Uniboy and getting the outplay. This LeBlanc is becoming a problem.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the J team are trying to do right here. If you look at the trades here, it's far more favorable for League. He gets the top lane tower uncontested. Bot lane, you know, it's true it goes over to Uniboy, but I don't think Uniboy actually matters all that much in the grand scheme of their compositions. Like, J team needs the gold on Little V more than anyone else. Let's see if Korea can find something here.
Enzo does get a knockup. It's only onto Wako. Unfortunately, Lil V can't follow through. They really need him to get these setups, but he's not got the items to work with. I mean, he's just sitting on that Immortal Shield Bow compared to Wako has a Phantom Dancer already.
Yeah, he's much further ahead in the build at this point, and you know, it's going to be up to J team to kind of break this stalemate. Beyond Gaming are perfectly happy to just play a drawn-out 1-3-1 like they are right now. You know, Wako is ahead. He can push in Little V constantly, and I feel like what J team need to do is they need to find some sort of a two-man gank, especially onto the bot lane would be my guess, but it's so hard catching up to a LeBlanc.
Yeah, and you don't even need the kills to do it. It's just been able to make some big plays as well. Finally, the buy will come through. I knew Lil V had to be sitting on some gold. There's not a massive farm differential there, so PD is completed. And now at least able to match close enough to the Sivir, although he's still losing out a little bit in the form of the BF Sword. Sivir doesn't need those boots as fast, especially. Got Ghost and On the Hunt available. And Beyond Gaming are perfectly happy to just keep the stiff arm. Keep your eye on the Dragon Timer. That's when we're going to be fighting next. It will be an Infernal coming up, and we do have the Infernal Rift. That's pretty big for both these teams. J-Team would love to grab that soul, but it will be the late game if it happens. If they do find Wako, he spell shields the charm. That was clutch.
And beautiful stuff. Didn't have the cleanse, but still survives. And that's going to make J-Team's life quite difficult here. Beyond Gaming has the decided damage advantage coming into this one. The question only is can they find Little V and the backline?
Yeah. J-Team looking to set up on that Death Brush. They know Lee Kai could be around, and he is going to be walking it as he doesn't want to spend that TP unnecessarily. Wave clear pushes on, but it's not going to be able to siege into the Sivir composition, so they will rotate back over towards the Dragon. 15 seconds till it comes up, and keep your eyes on Minji on the wraparound.
Ooh. J-Team are not bluffing anyone. They have vision here from Beyond Gaming. They know they're in that brush, so they can just hang back. If J-Team wants to fight, they have to full commit to this Drake.
They see Minji right now. So, procced on the Dragon. Does not land the charm. They want to get a pick before they set this up. They know it's going to be so much easier if they get somebody. And here comes the Ram Jam. Enzo, that's the flash. Everything misses. Minji, they open up, finding driver. Lee Kai splits the party on this one. And J-Team just don't have an execution. But they do know that a couple of key tools are down. On the Hunt, about to come back up. J-Team not feeling the most confident in the moment, but maybe a little more than they would have otherwise. Driver does have TP as he backs away. Minji coming in. Enzo looking for something. Not able to find it, and teleports will be expended on both sides as Lee Kai comes back into this fight. No more ultimatum, but Minji still threatening.
Now, only one ult left on both sides here. We have Husha with the potential engage, and then Uniboy with the charge away. Ooh,
it's going to be a knockup, but you can see Kongi on the Crescent Guard. That's enough. However, his health bar still melting pretty fast. Enzo gets denied on the last charge of that ultimate, and Wako goes through, taking Enzo out, carves off a flank stake, and now Uniboy just trying to dish the damage, but even with the Spirit Rush getting away, doesn't have it. Minji, here comes Lee Kai around the side, picks up two in quick succession. I didn't even see where the heck he came from, and that's going to be the end of the fight as Beyond will claim the spoils.
Yeah, beautiful stuff coming in from Beyond Gaming here. They split J-Team's composition away. Konger is left on the bottom side. He dies, just getting chased down. And then you have the resets coming in and just the chase down potential that we mentioned from Beyond Gaming here. I think unfortunately for J-Team, they had a decent start to that one, but they couldn't really tank the damage later on. Without Enzo and his ultimate, it was almost up, but without that, without the ult there, they just couldn't stand in their position. If you look at this, I just think Driver was kind of out of position at the start of this one. And look at Konger, he's forced away. Beyond Gaming walk right in with the damage dealers, and they just get both Enzo and Konger right off the bat, as easy as that. The damage is not able to be withstood on the side of J-Team.
it comes so much faster, and I think the big difference there is that Beyond just pumped it all into the same targets. J-Team split their focus because they saw opportunistic moments but didn't get what they needed. They need those team fight ultimates available, but they used a lot of them either defensively or on a pick attempt, not having the regular like flash headbutt pulverize combo available, having to rely on the longer setup of the Hex Flash, and not having the Ram Jam. Punished them. Now they're setting up a Death Brush, and I feel like Beyond are wise to these tricks. They have to know this is happening, but Wako and Kino, here we go. The Ornhorn going to be coming through. They turn on to Kino, but do they have the damage? He's just tanked it through. Nope. You can see they don't. Now the turn's coming in. The trap is closing. Leakai becomes unstoppable. The true damage is just so huge. And that Camille, certainly the scissors have been sharpened here. And here is Beyond moving forward. Uniboy will fall to the Ricochet hits. That's going to open up the Baron.
Oh boy, and J-Team, this Ornn has just not been working out for them. They have a front to back, but trying to catch these members from Beyond Gaming proves far too difficult. They only get the support in that one, and then the comeback kill from Leakai was beautiful. It just cuts right through that damage reduction on the side of the Alistar. Konger's got nowhere to go after this one. He has to flash out, but I'm not sure that saves him.
Kino, okay, they may not be able to chase this down for longer. Never mind, they certainly can. Kongye doesn't quite get popped, but after the Baron, after that fight, big dinner, they were looking for some dessert as well, and J-Team have just been left out in the cold right now. 26.5 minutes, the gold lead has opened up so substantially, Clement. It's 7,000, almost 8.
And we're going to have to take a look at the replay right here. I understand what J-Team are trying to do, but so far they've just not been able to find these targets. You know, look at Kino right here. Everything lands on him, but he's already underneath the tower at that point. And watch this from Enzo. He just gets deleted by the true damage out of Leakai. Nothing he can do right there. It's so hard for J-Team to try and find these catches, but at this point they're also so far behind that they can't really start the objectives on early themselves. So they're really in an awkward situation, and my suggestions for them is just, you know, just wait for the third item, Zeri. At this point, you can't really do much trying to force these contests, and just look at the damage difference here.
Yeah, it's stark. It's night and day at this point, and you're right. It goes back to draft. You talked about how this Sin seemed a little bit of an oddball pick. Protecting Lil V was not something that J-Team have been exceptionally good at. That's why he usually plays things like the Callistic and protect himself really well. The Zeri has the self-peel, but they're just not finding the targets. J-Team, they're looking for that front to back, and Beyond Gaming know this game plan. They do not give them an opportunity. And here we are, almost 28 minutes in. They've held Beyond Gaming to J-Team to a single kill.
Yeah, and J-Team, at this point, they still don't have the damage. They really can't fight this. I think their game plan has to be just give up the outer towers and wait for the high ground inhibitor fights at this point. Like, they need that Infinity Edge so badly on Zeri, or else Little V is just going to be tickling people.
Yeah, and they're getting tickled quite a lot themselves. Look at those health bars just being chipped away at. That means that the fights that Beyond do take just have such a higher chance of success anyways, and you can see Minji just keeps on finding a target. Here we go. The Ornhorn is going to be called out. Wako spell shields through it. And Beyond every time have just split so effectively right now as they will go in for round 2. Looking for Enzo. Here comes Husha onto Kongye. They just find so much damage, forcing the retreat. That's going to open up the inhibitor. And even though everyone's still standing, Beyond Gaming have broken into this base easy as you like.
J-Team just have not been able to find any of these engages and try to punish. I don't really understand that attempt in the bot side. It basically gave Beyond Gaming 2 inhibitors that they otherwise would not have gotten. So, J-Team, I don't really get that. I feel like that was a wrong call on their part, and Beyond Gaming very happy to walk away the victors after he just basically understanding that J-Team have used all their tools.
Yeah, it's unfortunately a very telegraphed strategy when it pops off like this, and I do think it starts to beg the question, why did they start Driver? He's clearly not been on the same page with the team with regards to the fighting execution. Maybe they want him to go for those Call of the Forge Gods, but they've been very, very optimistic.
Yeah, in my view, there's no way they're trying to go for that. That was just maybe we can hit Wako. But Wako's been very good with the spell shields the entire game, and you still don't have your Infinity Edge yet on the Zeri. I don't understand why that was a reasonable attempt coming in from J-Team. And, you know, they're going to have to fight that Infernal Soul that's coming up so soon.
If there's one silver lining, the Infinity Edge now completed means that they should be in a better position to try and force a fight out. However, they got to deal with Leakai. This guy has just become a monster, and he is flying out from the flank and deleting somebody before they can even react.
Crazy thing is, he can actually just start on the front line and still cut through. And so...
But he's on the back again. Look at the wraparound. Okay, they respect it. Those outers, all those towers are going to fall. They do have to get in and clear the mini waves. There are supers everywhere right now. But I think we are close to the final fight. The hold, if it comes from J-Team, will be their last chance to turn this game around. Otherwise, we could be looking down the 0-1.
Yeah, and we have to remember this is a really important game one because this is the game where J-Team had their side selection. This is the game where J-Team were supposed to get that, continue their 100% win rate streak on the blue side. But if they drop here, you know, that changes a lot of the calculus. Of course, they will still get game selection because of the loss going further on, but you really expect the higher seed to come in and try to make use of that game one.
Yeah, a little bit surprising how this game has gone. I don't want to harp on draft too much, but that feels like one of the big parts of it. Just some of the choices have not necessarily been where you'd expect. I think Beyond have just identified that the strongest part of this team was going to be Lil V. And even though Zeri's still a pretty decent champion, she kind of needs a little time to get up to speed. And Wako didn't really have that same problem on the Sivir. 4 items, and he's just been flawless at dancing around the front-to-back attempts. And I think Beyond Gaming, you called it clutch performance. They certainly have, as Konge runs face first into Minji and takes a full combo nearly zoned out. That Xin Zhao has just had almost nothing to do this game.
Yeah, I don't really see what the Xin Zhao was there supposed to accomplish. And here comes Beyond Gaming.
Oh, big old tack sweep, and they move into Enzo to get a big knockup. However, Minji and Usha in the back, making Lil V's life hard as they send him back to the fountain. Wako goes on the spree, and it is just 1, 2, 3, lights out, Uniboy deleted, and that's going to be GG for game 1.
As easy as that, Beyond Gaming catch J-Team right outside of the base. The jungler's already low. They have multiple flank options into the backline. And Zeri, even with double sums up, not able to survive this one. Beyond Gaming shock the higher seed in J-Team and take down game 1.
Starving out J-Team, held a single tower, a single dragon, a single kill. And I think there is quite a lot of shock for the J-Team roster, especially as we had been predicting them to be the winners of this series. All but Nightstar had believed in J-Team, and I think there's going to have to be some changes going forward. I don't think this game's all on Driver Clement, but I do think they